Well, alright, comic book collectors of Sheffield, and thanks for joining us again. And yes, this week, we're off to the movies, so grab your pop... Grab your popcorn and settle down in row Z, seat 99, as we look at some movie... Are you going to play that every time I say movie? Well, we did spend a lot of time and money on that intro. So yes, this week we'll look at some adaptations of those things you go to the cinema to see. First off, it's Alien, the illustrated story. This originally appeared in Heavy Metal magazine, and I think you can tell that by looking at some of these pages. Also, if you ever find yourself in a xenomorph encounter, make sure you've got an airlock nearby, as they do seem to be the xenomorph's natural enemy. Clash of the Titans, a Look-In film special. And if you're not familiar with Look-In magazine, well, here you go.
Look in for non-stop fun with Benny Hill, Doctor on the Go, Stewpot's News Desk, and big prize competitions.
1941, the illustrated story. This also appeared in Heavy Metal magazine. I don't remember this as being particularly funny, to be honest with you, except for this one scene. Issues 1 to 4 of Demolition Man. Of course, the one question everybody has about this film is Taco Bell? Seriously, Taco Bell? Although the version we had in the UK had Pizza Hut instead. This version does keep in John Spartan meeting his daughter in the future. It also keeps in Stallone copping off with Sandra Bullock as well. X, the man with X-ray eyes. Now, when I watched this when I was a kid, after he, spoiler alert, plucked his eyes out at the end, I swear he did say, "I can still see," which for kid me was very jarring. But that's a version that apparently doesn't exist. So I don't know where I'm getting that memory from. Here's an odd one, I think. It's House 2, the second story. There's quite a big difference between the first two House films. I think the first one just being straight up horror, and this one being a horror comedy. Especially the scene where Cliff Clavin turns up as an electrician who just happens to enjoy exploring alternate dimensions. It's also worth noting that Gnome was in the first House movie.
Oh, please. He'll never learn to speak in this environment.
Afternoon, everybody.
Cyborg, a Canon Video comic adaptation. Cyborg is what we got instead of the second Masters of the Universe film, and also a proposed Spider-Man film as well. I have to say, in rather typical Canon Video fashion, this adaptation stops right at the start of the climactic fight of the film. Well done, Canon. Well done. I better get me sent down to the video shop then to see what happens. Mind you, it's not out until September. So, when I was a kid, I saw a film at the cinema that I could have sworn was a Sinbad one, where at one point Sinbad was facing off against a giant fist that had a spiked glove on. Now, it wasn't one of the usual Sinbad ones that you got at Christmas time, and it took a while, well into my adult years in fact, to find out that it was Captain Sinbad. However, that spiked glove-wearing hand does not feature in this comic. How disappointing.
And unafraid, Captain Sinbad defies the mysteries of the occult.
Time Bandits, an amazing Terry Gilliam film. We can make beans into peas, always makes me laugh. It doesn't feature my favourite line from the film though.
Yeah, stinking rich. Lads, here's the stinking rich.
Stinking rich. Stinking rich. That's the Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin. Here's the Kevin. Stinking Kevin.
Judge Dredd. Oh dear, what can you say about this? There's some positives to the film, but they're kind of just slapdash things that are thrown in there. There is a long walk. The Angel Gang make an appearance. And there's an ABC warrior that I think is supposed to be Hammerstein. And you have to say they had some balls for doing a Judge Rico related story as well. This adaptation though is drawn by Carlos Esquerra. I think it's got to be worth picking up just for that. Yellow Submarine, my favourite film of all time. My copy of this is missing the poster though, but sometimes you get what you can while you can. There's a scene in here where the Beatles go to a barber shop, and also they have run-ins with a meter maid. So this is probably done from an early draft of the movie. Bloody hell. Alien Resurrection, issues 1 and 2. Not the best in the series, but also probably not the worst as well. I mean, it does have this in it though, which gets sucked through a hole in a window into outer space. So hey, if you haven't got an airlock available, make sure you've got a window you can make a small hole in. Also, the artist on this is Eduardo Risso, most famous for 100 Bullets. So again, worth picking up for this alone, I think. And lastly, back in the late 80s, a film came out called Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and very enjoyable it was too. Then Bogus Journey came out. I wasn't so much a fan of that, and I haven't got round to seeing Face the Music yet. But from that first film, Keanu Reeves went on to become a pretty big star, appearing in films like Johnny Mnemonic, Constantine, and 47 Ronin. Alex Winter, however, made a film called Freaked. It's a pretty fun film if you haven't seen it. Oh, it's also got Keanu Reeves in as well. No, seriously, that's him. Anyway, that's it for this week. Thanks for joining me as we've had a look through some of my movie adaptations. I don't know why I bother sometimes, I really do.